Hey everybody, I've been wanting to share this with my carving peers for a while. When I was a young fella, my family went to the Lumberjack World Championships in Hayward, Wisconsin, and I met my friends, the Shears, there. And then I met a lot of guys that were doing chainsaw racing, where they take motorcycle engines and race chainsaws. And so I learned a bit about sharpening chains from those guys, and I still apply some of those principles today, and I want to share one of them with you. The chain is a bent over piece of metal, right? And then it's sharpened underneath in the front. We're all well aware of that. And the raker here, that's what controls the amount of depth that the chain can cut. And you see how the chain goes down in the back, and that's so that the top doesn't get polished as it's riding through the kerf. But the point that I want to make is what I do is I cut off the underside of the chain. And what that does is it makes it easier for the chain to go through the wood, because if it's thick on that edge, it has to pull all that metal through the wood. And the other thing about it is, if this side is sharpened, then it cuts too. Now you're probably thinking I'm crazy, but it makes a huge difference, and I'll show you how I do it. This is a diamond wheel, and these manufactured diamonds that they do now are cheap as hell. You can get this whole pack. You get a whole pack of these for near nothing. This is a little Dremel tool, and I don't know how well you can see this, but the side of this tooth is pretty darn thick. So by taking the Dremel, if I just take and push up with the diamond tool, I can remove this edge on the other side and end up with a thinner edge that's actually a little sharp. You never want to sharpen the top of your chain. Don't touch the top. But just getting that thinner, it makes a huge amount of difference. What was interesting with the chainsaw racing guys that they told me was, when they're racing their saws, this goes down as close to the strap here, and one of their biggest problems is getting the chips out. So what I do, if I really want to cut fast, which time is money, I cut the back of the tooth off, making more room for the chip. All right? So you can see it's big here, it's narrow there. You're taking a chip, this gets all filled up with chips. Now your whole tooth is riding in the chips. So if you cut the back off, you have more room for the chip. So by eliminating that back part, I'm making more room for the chip, and I still have some structure here that I can sharpen to. And then this is a safety link in the front here. These are a real pain in the ass. So this is a little much for this diamond tool to do the safety link and the raker thing here, but I'll do both of them. I'm going to use my cutoff wheel when I put this on the bar to do those, but same thing. If you sharpen this, but if I sharpen that a little bit like a knife edge, it helps it slice through the wood. So now what I've done is I've made a sharp cutter out of the safety link and the depth gauge. I've thinned the side wall of my tooth, make that slice more, and remove the back so I have more room for the chip. So, you might think, oh, well, look at the time it takes and what do you really get out of this? But over a year or more of cutting, and if it's happening much faster, your efficiency plus, you don't have to push on the chain and the saw. It cuts like butter. It's crazy. So last night at Runnings, because I'm sick of switching the sprockets over for quarter pitch, and I'm working on some big stuff right now, so I probably don't need the detail of the carving bar. but having this short little bar on here will help me get some detail. And it was like $18. It's crazy. A bar and chain for $18. All right, then the other thing for ripping, you want to bring the tooth back to about 15 degrees. I don't do that on the first sharpen, but I do it on like the first 3 sharpens. But even a brand new chain, I like to sharpen. They don't come as sharp as they could be. Let's see how fast this thing will cut in this chunk.